Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're reacting to some juicy wedding drama. I love wedding drama and I'm sure you love wedding drama. So let's see what I have gathered here. First video is going to be a little long. It's from TikTok from creator S Money. I am so excited to see it. Maid of Honor scammer bachelorette trip horror story. Let's see.
One of my upcoming brides just told me the craziest story about one of her bridesmaids, and she did give me the permission to share this story on TikTok and just leave names out. I am so shook by this, and it literally makes me never want to go on a bachelorette trip, especially a bachelorette destination trip, ever again. So I went to do a makeup trial for one of my upcoming brides at a hotel in Miami, and I asked her why she was staying there because she lives in Miami, and she was like, well, tonight is my bachelorette party. I was supposed to go on my bachelorette party to Tulum, but it winded up falling through because of one of my former bridesmaids, actually my maid of honor. She scammed us out of $5,000 planning this trip to Tulum. So I'm obviously tell me everything. This tea is piping hot. I need to know more. So she tells me that she basically gave maid of honor duties to this one friend that she'd been friends with since high school, and she was also the maid of honor in this girl's wedding as well. But this girl had recently been divorced and was really hurt about her divorce, so she figured giving her maid of honor duties and giving her something to throw herself into and stay distracted would be a good idea. Wrong. So this friend was like, yes, let's all go to Tulum, I need a girls trip. So she starts planning this bachelorette party in Tulum. They were gonna
Bachelorette party in Tulum sounds crazy to begin with. Okay.
stay at this resort that just opened, and she was gonna get this great deal in some booking website, and the friend, the ex-maid of honor, collected the money from everybody, and it was around $5,000 in total. I forgot how many people she said. I think it was 6 or 7 people, but including the bride, including the friend, it was going to be $5,000, and she collected all of it, booked everything, sent confirmations to. So everyone's thinking they're all set to go to Tulum. She apparently even collected people's passport numbers. She was really, convincing that she had planned this trip to Tulum for them, right? So my bride was even saying how grateful and happy she was that she had a friend plan her bachelorette trip, and that she really trusted her maid of honor, and she felt so grateful that everything was taken care of. And even the other bridesmaids chipped in for the bride's portion for the bachelorette trip. So she was really confident everything was set, right? Over the summer, the maid of honor that had booked everything basically started blowing her off for a new guy that she met. So she had a dress fitting where she had an emergency with her original dress and needed to pick out another one or get something customized, and her maid of honor completely blew her off, and she was really upset about it, and she just let it go because she knew that she went through a lot with the divorce and kept giving her chances. So my bride told me that she kept giving her maid of honor chances to redeem herself, and she was failing miserably. So she figured, you know what, let me just go out to dinner with her, clear the air. Maybe this whole process of watching someone else get married is tough for her. Let me just see where her head is at. So the bride and the maid of honor go out to dinner with the fiance of the bride and the new guy that the maid of honor is dating. And apparently this guy that the maid of honor is dating is totally bad news bears. The bride said, I think he was on something. He was ordering a million drinks, got wasted, didn't even offer to pay, was saying vile things at the table, was rude to the wait staff, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. So the bride said she waited a couple days and then reached out to her maid of honor, and the maid of honor was like, oh, isn't he great? And the bride was about that, he's not coming to the wedding and I don't think he's good for you. And apparently the maid of honor just went ballistic, and the bride was like, listen, if this is too much, I can ask somebody else to take this over because I need more support. And the maid of honor was like, I'm done, I don't even want to be in the wedding party anymore, I'm done, don't ever talk to me again. My bride said that she didn't want that, and she was trying to talk her maid of honor down, and she's like, listen, if this is too much for you, seriously, we can ask somebody else to do it. If you need a breather, let me know. I just don't want you to walk out of the bridal party. We have my bachelorette party. You're one of my good friends, I care about you, but I just need more support right now. Maid of honor was not having it, and she just blocked the bride on every social media outlet, blocked her number, and the bride was like, I don't know what the fuck to do because number one, this is my maid of honor and we have an entire vacation plan to another country. This is where it gets kind of weird. My bride told me that not only did she block her, she blocked her fiance, she blocked all of the other bridesmaids and people in the bride's family. So obviously she's freaking out because her and her girls paid all this money to go on a trip to Tulum that was coming up in a few months, and this girl blocked all of them, and she was the one who planned and coordinated all of them. She has all the details. Nobody else really has details besides like screenshots, confirmation numbers, and they sent all of her money. I don't know, you guys, if it were me, I probably like would have went to the police by now.
Yeah, if it was me, I would have gone really crazy. First of all, it is super childish and it's kind of fishy. When I first heard that it's like $5,000 to Tulum for a lot of people, sounds too good to be true. It's possible, but sounds too good to be true. And the fact that she is gone and not giving any money back is crazy.
So this is all happening when they're less than 3 months out from this Tulum trip, right? And they don't know what's going on because the person that planned all of it has all of their money, has all the confirmation, is MIA. So my bride says after several weeks, they finally got a hold of the ex-maid of honor, and she says that there is no trip and that she will make sure that they all get their money back. The bride is like, what the fuck? There is no trip. Like, we're gonna get our money back. Did you just take all the money and run? Did you spend all of it? Like, what's going on? My bride called the all-inclusive booking service that her maid of honor alleged that she booked everything through, and unfortunately the person that was operating on the other end was like somebody in South Asia that did not really understand the situation. So she was like, I was at a loss. I didn't know what to do. So I finally called the resort to see if there was any information I could get, and there was a reservation under the maid of honor's name. But here's where it gets weird. It was for 2 people, and this was for a group of bridesmaids. So my bride is thinking that apparently the maid of honor booked this vacation for her and her man using all of their money. Apparently the resort in Tulum was being like extremely cooperative and accommodating, but they said that there wasn't really anything that they can do besides give them some sort of a discount, but it was just honestly too late for the dates that they wanted to go. The maid of honor like apparently had nothing to say and winded up sending them like $3,000, but still owed the bride around $2,000. My bride is so much better than me because I would lose it. Like, I would lose it. She said that she's still working through it with the maid of honor, but like I said, she is better than me. I think that she might be going to small claims, but I'm not too sure. On a much happier, more positive and lighthearted note, at the end of the day, they did not go to Tulum, obviously, but the bride's fiance and all of her friends, like fiancés and husbands, all chipped in for the girls to have like a Miami staycation kind of bachelorette party, and they had a spa day and like a dinner and a night out that was all taken care of by the guys. This is why we need to stick to bachelorette parties being like a night out in the city, at a hotel somewhere local, dinner somewhere local, not these crazy international extravaganzas that breed trouble. Her wedding's not for a few more months, so I'll let you guys know if she updates me before then, if she gets the money back, or you guys just might have to wait until then.
Yeah, so she was talking about a really crazy story. Planning a trip somewhere you probably have never been before, and especially giving all the trust to your bridesmaid is kind of scary. It's just a little bit too much responsibility one person could take, and it's really hard because you have to know what's happening. You can't just be relying on that one person. So yeah, I would probably not ever give something like that as a responsibility for a trip like to my friend. That could probably cause a lot of disagreements, a lot of fights during and between all of this. So in my opinion, it's just like so unnecessary, and I don't think y'all should do that. So when I heard 5,000, first of all, it sounds fishy, but $5,000 internationally, especially Tulum, does not sound too right, especially for 6 people. This is my point. So yeah, crazy story. Really unfortunate that they're not able to go to Tulum, but I'm so happy that the men were able to chip in so that the girls would have the fun. It really sucks. Story time of a bridesmaid who told me she hated me.
Story time of the bridesmaid who accidentally told me that she hated me. I do just want to quickly say that I'm only going to say this story because it just fit the trend yesterday. Like, I don't sit here and think about it. There's no negative feelings. And this is going to be a longer video. It just is. There's no way that I can make it a quick thing. Flashback to whenever I was engaged. First things first, you get all your girls together. I had 9 bridesmaids, and I was really excited to ask everybody to be a part of my bridal party. And I had one specific friend, the bridesmaid, who I was hanging out with pretty frequently. With that being said, I have always known who my maid of honor was going to be. Even before I met Zach, my best friend from college, my sorority sister, I've just always known. Whenever I asked all my girls to be my bridesmaids, I started noticing really weird behavior from this one specific bridesmaid after I asked my maid of honor to be my maid of honor. And by that, I mean she would start to make comments like, I wish I hung out with new people, I want to make new friends, and she would say it to me, like only to me. It would have been a red flag. It was a red flag back then, but I just told myself, you know what, I'm busy wedding planning. Maybe that's where it's stemming from. She met a girl, and we're going to call her friend number 1, and later on there's going to be friend number 2, but for now it's just my bridesmaid and friend number 1. Friend number 1 I met. At one point, we were even like a little trio friendship. She was even a guest at my wedding. At some point, I was booted out of that friendship. Again, I know that should have been a red flag, but I kept telling myself, like, I'm really busy wedding planning, and that's just not an area that they can relate to or want to be involved in right now. After a little while, in would come friend number 2. So now my bridesmaid is in a trio kind of friendship with these 2 other girls, one who I've met, friend number 1, and friend number 2 I have never met. To this day, I've never met. On the day that she accidentally told me that she hated me, we had been drinking, and she had told me that she wished that she hung out with me and my maid of honor and just me and my friends all together. And I was like, that is a great idea. Maybe we can all hang out. We can all be one massive friend group. And instantly, she said verbatim, my friends would think that it was weird as fuck if I asked them to hang out with you. And that comment literally shocked me to my core. I physically felt my heart do something. I was like, are you sure? I know, friend number 1, we've hung out, like I thought we were friends. She's like, no, look, I'll show you. She whips her phone out and she pulls up a group message between her and these 2 other girls, one who I've met, one who I've never met, and they're literally just shitting on me. There's even screenshots of mine and my bridesmaids' messages, like in there. I was referred to as a toxic ex-boyfriend who she can't get rid of.
Oh my God.
The girl that I've never met before, in all capital letters, there's a message from her saying, I hate her. And just a group message where they're just shitting on me. And mind you, this is my best friend just drunkenly showing this to me. Unfortunately, I had no backbone. I really didn't, because friend number 1 was even a guest at my wedding. And I had a lot of love for my bridesmaid. She'd been my best friend for several years. I genuinely just did not have a backbone, and I let her convince me that this was kind of all just like a drunken misunderstanding, and she didn't mean it, and the messages were... Even saying it out loud, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Ultimately, she did stand up there in my bridal party beside me on my wedding day. And like I said, that's on me, that's on nobody else. But we would never see or hang out with each other ever again after that. And I never got an explanation until about a year later. I got a random text from her, and I got to give it to her. It was a no bullshit apology. It literally was like, I'm sorry, you did not deserve that. Excuse me. Sorry, you did not deserve that. I surrounded myself with mean girls, therefore I became a mean girl, and literally just owning it and just saying sorry. I did accept the apology. Like I said, I had a lot of love for this human, and we shared a lot of really happy memories together, so I accepted the apology, but we've never seen or spoken to each other since. I forgot to mention that one day after my wedding, I just woke up and my bridesmaid and friend number 1 had just unfollowed me on social media.
First of all, you are the sweetest person ever. If you're watching this video, probably you're not watching this video. I'm having like whole 7 people watch my videos right now, but if you ever at any point watch my video, just know that they are straight up jealous of you. I have had people that would talk behind my back and stab me and not support me on the days that I actually needed them. So even a closest friend could do this to you, just so you know. Yeah, as I'm reading the comments little by little, I could just see how people also agree that you are like a really sweet person. You seem so genuine, and I just feel like they had something on you. There's definitely some tension there, and I just don't understand why would they do this to you, especially when there's a close friend that you wanted her to be a bridesmaid. Yeah, true friends don't talk behind your back and don't have such toxic conversations between each other, especially behind your back. It's like a whole group chat of toxic people. Throw them out immediately, honestly.
So flash forward a couple months, they all have a falling out, and friend number 1 tries refollowing me on social media, and it was honestly just really triggering to me, just because, like I said, I never got an explanation, and I never understood why it was happening. So I just flat out messaged her and I said, hey, I don't want you to feel like you have the right to follow me. You guys bullied me for several months and for no apparent reason. And I gotta give it to her too, because she owned up to it, and she said, you're right. we were mean to you for no reason, and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way, and I'm sorry I was involved in that, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't respond. Friend number 2, like I said, I've never met her, will most likely never meet her, so the fact that I saw her say those things about me, I just genuinely just not a nice person. I don't want to meet her. And that's the story. That's the tea. I didn't mean to open a can of worms. I just thought that this situation really fit the trend well yesterday. But it is what it is. Just a classic case of like high school mean girl bullying. But we're happy and we're thriving now.
She is the sweetest person ever. I could really tell by the way she's talking. But yeah, like once again, you really don't know who your friends are until something like this happens or you push their buttons to make them jealous. It's just so hard. It's really hard, especially girl to girl, to make friends. It's so hard. And I could really relate to that. There's this one comment by Zach Designs. Sometimes it's the people we love who end up showing their true colors. Better to know than to never find out. Exactly. I really think that it is super important to find that early enough and not to get hurt like this. That must feel like a heartbreak because I have had this situation happen to me before, and it does feel like a relationship, like heartbreak. Like a lover heartbreak, but it's even worse. It's like your sister, like your family member. All right, we are moving on to some Reddit stories, and I'm just so excited for that because I have some juicy stories over there. Am I the a-hole for kicking my fiance's sister out of my wedding? I, 32 female, had never had good relationship with my mother. She was very emotionally and verbally abusive to me when I was a kid. She's a very mean person that when I left to college at 18, I went in no contact with her. It was the best for me to distance myself from her, and it worked for me. When I met my fiance John 5 years ago, he knew all about my relationship with my mom and that I was no contact with her. He always respected my boundaries and never pushed me to have a relationship with her, even when I was pregnant with our daughter too. When I got engaged, I made his sister Stacy my maid of honor because we had a very close relationship, or I thought. Last Sunday, I was going over the guest list with her and coming up with the seating chart for a reception. I never said anything about where my mother would be sitting because she wasn't invited, and I think that caught her off guard because she asked where my mom would be sitting. I told her my mother wasn't invited because we don't talk and I really don't want her at the wedding. She got quiet but didn't argue with me, and we moved on from here. I just feel it where this is going. Oh. A few days passed and I got a call from a number I didn't know. I didn't answer and hung up, but the number called again, so I answered. My heart dropped when I heard my mother's voice. She was crying through the phone, asking me why she did not know I was getting married, and I was honest with her. I told her that she didn't need to know because of how she treated me throughout my childhood. I had to go to therapy to undo the damage she did to me, and I'm still not openly healed from it. I made a choice going no contact with her, and I would like to keep it that way. She told me that it was unfair and that I was holding what she did years ago against her, and she hopes that we could talk when she comes down for the wedding. Sometimes parents are just so ignorant of what is going on. Like, you were literally traumatized. You went to therapy. I understand it's your mother, but still, like, why are you ignoring that part and you're inviting yourself to a wedding that someone does not want you to be there? What is the sister-in-law getting her nose into that though? How did your mom know? I told her that wasn't necessary because she wasn't invited. She started crying, asking me why I sent her an invitation to the wedding if I didn't actually want her there. That explains the story and why she would be upset. I told her that it didn't, so I don't know how she got one, but it wasn't for me. She said nothing else and hung up the phone. This is a very tense story. When John got home with Stacy, I asked him why he sent an invitation to my mother when I told him that I didn't want her there. He was confused and said that he didn't, but I told him that someone did because she has one. That's when Stacy steps in and tells me that she was the one that sent out the invitation because she thought that if I saw her at my wedding, I would realize how important it was to have my mother there for me. Now Stacy knows what I have been through with my mom and why I didn't want her at my wedding. She knows that my relationship with her is not good, and her going back to invite someone to my wedding that I did not get along with felt like a huge act of betrayal. I understand. I snapped at her and kicked her out of the wedding party because I refused to have someone there who didn't respect my boundaries and invited people that I didn't like without my permission. She immediately started to crying to John, telling him that I couldn't do this and stop me from kicking her out from the wedding. He was quickly to take my side and completely ban her from the wedding. She was fuming, mad, and left without saying a word. I got calls all Thursday and Friday from John's family telling me that I was an a-hole for making John ban his sister from the wedding. His mom actually told me that what she did wasn't even a big of a deal and I needed to stop acting like a petty baby over something that happened to me years ago. Yeah, if it was that easy, ma'am, if it was that easy, she would probably not need to go to therapy. This whole thing has divided the family and is making me feel guilty, but John has reassured me that I did not do anything wrong and had nothing to feel guilty about. I want to believe him, but I can't help but feel like I might have overreacted a bit. So am I an a-hole here? You're definitely not. You specifically mentioned to this person that you don't want that person to be in the wedding. You mentioned why, the reason, and you explained why you rather not have them at the wedding. This is your boundaries. This is your wedding. I had a scenario at my wedding too, and I just know how horrible it is when something really goes against your boundaries, and especially if it's a person who knows the reason behind it and still tries to make things better. This is completely wrong and I don't agree with the sister. Let's see what the comments say. Not the a-hole. What a horrible thing for her to do when she knows about your past trauma. Exactly. You were healing from the trauma. Your mom was abusive. There is no reason for your mom to be there because even if it's just your mom, what if your mom was a danger to you and you just wanted to keep her away from your future? Like, people don't understand it. They just think, oh, it's your mother, you must keep her. I understand that. I completely understand that, but there's limitations to this. Not the a-hole. I'm glad your husband is backing you up and supporting you. Your future sister-in-law not only broke your trust, but she went against what you said. Exactly. Somebody who wants the best for you and he cares for you would never do that. I hope you're able to have a great, peaceful wedding. I really hope so too. Really props to your husband for that. I am so happy that you had him on your side, and it's okay. You can build a family with him. That's your future. So just don't worry about that too much. Don't think that you overreacted. You actually acted very reasonable. Another subreddit, this is a wedding shaming. Wedding registry sent but not even invited. Let's see what they say. So here comes two of my past good friends, no longer friends because of various of reasons. They got married during the pandemic, and only their immediate families were invited. Understandably so. No one in our friend group found fault in this. And as a gift, I made them a website gathering our friends and their friends' congratulations. That's really nice of you. What was jarring was that even weeks after the wedding, we, people not invited, kept receiving messages from the couple asking for their wedding gifts from their registry. It was so weird because they didn't even bother to celebrate anything with us at all. No Zoom calls of the wedding ceremony. I attended 2 to 3 weddings virtually during the pandemic. No engagement or bridal showers at all. Yet they expected us to give a gift. I really don't like those type of people who expect gifts. I love giving gifts and I would never expect a gift from anyone. I really don't like even receiving gifts. I feel really guilty for receiving gifts and I really despise people who expect gifts. That is so disgusting. I get that it is the pandemic, but there were still safe ways to get people together virtually or not. Also, it is hypocritical of them to say that because of the pandemic. They would have pretended they didn't get COVID, would still go. Also, it is hypocritical of them to say that it's because of the pandemic when they would pretend that they didn't even get COVID and would still go. Literally, this came out of their mouths. So they were like, it's okay if we get COVID, we're gonna still celebrate, but you're not invited because it's COVID. You're not invited, but give me a gift now. What? My partner and I got engaged 2 years ago, and they sent their congratulations to us and scoffed us for trying to get married late. And that if we got married during the pandemic like them, we would save so much money. Those are not your friends, thankfully, anymore. And I could really see why. They sound very entitled. They sound very full of themselves. Crazy story. Let's see what the comments say. Yeah, exactly. How do people not get embarrassed for doing this? Kept receiving messages from the couple asking for their wedding gifts from their registry. Absolutely catastrophic fail on their part for that. And for you would have saved so much money if you got married like us. While still asking for gifts, laugh them off and go about your day and your life. Yeah, exactly. It's just so tacky. You probably don't need these people in your life, and thankfully they threw themselves out. I'm so happy for you. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Subscribe, but I'll see you on the next one. Bye.